Ever felt the world's noise crashing against your skull like a tidal wave, drowning out your thoughts? Do you sense every pointless conversation, every hollow demand, every fake smile chipping away at your very essence? Has the chaos ever pushed you to the edge where the only way to fight back is to shut it all out? You're not broken, you're a Sigma. Welcome to the Sigma male community, where we don't just survive the storm, we master it. In this video we're tearing into the 11 brutal truths behind why Sigma males go silent. This isn't about weakness or retreat, it's about wielding quiet as a blade, cutting through a world that never stops screaming. Get ready, these truths will hit hard, provoke your mind, and ignite your resolve. Let's dive in. 1. The energy reclamation ritual. For Sigma males, energy isn't some vague social battery, it's a rare, refined currency minted in the fires of focus and will. Every interaction, from the mindless chatter of coworkers to the performative, "how's it going at the store?" is a transaction that threatens to bleed you dry. When that reserve runs low, silence isn't optional, it's the emergency lever you pull to save yourself. It's a sacred ritual, a retreat into a stillness so deep the world's static fades to nothing, letting you recharge not for their sake, but for yours, emerging only when your internal grid blazes at full power again. This isn't running away, it's reclaiming what's yours. The Stoics knew that true strength lies in guarding your inner peace against external chaos, and you live that every time you choose silence over noise. It's a deliberate act of self-preservation, a middle finger to a society that expects you to keep spending what you don't have. You don't owe anyone your energy, least of all those who'd waste it. Picture a lone predator after a hunt, slipping into the shadows to rest. The pack may howl, but he doesn't answer. He conserves, he restores, he prepares. That's you. The world sees distance. You know it's discipline. Your silence is the forge where depleted reserves become unbreakable resolve, and you dictate when the fire's hot enough to step back into the fray. Here's the kicker: they'll judge you for it. Cold, they'll say, or unfriendly. Let them. You're not here to dance for their approval. You're here to protect what keeps you alive, your energy, your clarity, your power. Silence is your rebellion against a world that demands you give until you're empty, and you'll never let it win. 2. The boundary enforcement field. Cross a Sigma's line, disrespect, lies, manipulation, and you won't get a shouting match. You'll get silence, cold and absolute, a force field snapping into place faster than you can blink. It's not about sulking, it's a calculated withdrawal, a total cutoff of energy from anyone who dares violate your standards. This quiet is your fortress wall, shouting without words that some things are non-negotiable, and you'll never bend to appease the unworthy. The Stoics taught that we control only ourselves, not the actions of others, so you don't waste breath on their chaos. Your silence is your power, a mirror held up to their failure, forcing them to face the void they've earned. It's not passive, it's active defiance, a refusal to let their poison seep into your world. Try to breach it and you'll only prove why it's there. Think of a king dismissing a traitor from his court. No debate, just the heavy thud of a door slamming shut. That's your silence. Regal, final, unyielding. It's not about revenge, it's about respect, for yourself first. Those who can't honor your boundaries don't deserve your presence, and you enforce the truth without a single word. Most won't get it. They'll beg, prod, or guilt trip, desperate to crack your quiet. Let them squirm. You're not here to fix their mistakes, you're here to uphold your worth. This silence is your law, and the penalty for breaking it is simple: exile from your orbit. Respect it or vanish. 3. The depth deficit shutdown. Superficiality doesn't just bore a Sigma, it's a personal insult. When talk turns to gossip, trends, or the weather for the 10th time, your mind doesn't just tune out. It locks down. Silence becomes your shield, a hard no to wasting your breath on noise that adds nothing to your life. You're not here to nod along like a puppet. You're here for substance, and you'll starve before you feed on crumbs. This is Stoic wisdom at work. Why squander your focus on what's trivial when you can master what matters? Your silence isn't rudeness, it's integrity, a refusal to let shallow waters drown your depth. You'd rather sit with your own thoughts than choke on someone else's emptiness, and that's a strength they'll never understand. Imagine a lion surrounded by yapping dogs. He doesn't roar to shut them up, he walks away regal and unbothered. That's you in the face of small talk. You're not above it, You're beyond it, preserving your energy for conversations that challenge, inspire, or cut to the core. Anything less is static you won't dignify. The world calls it arrogance. You call it survival. They'll keep chattering, oblivious to the gift you offer, a chance to rise to your level. Some will, most won't. Either way, your silence stands firm, a filter that keeps your mind sharp and your soul untarnished in a sea of meaningless noise. For the emotional alchemy chamber. Sigmas don't wear their emotions like a badge, they forge them in silence. Anger, pain, joy, it all goes into the crucible of quiet, where no one's allowed to meddle. In that stillness, chaos becomes clarity, rage cools into purpose, hurt hardens into wisdom. You don't spill raw feelings for others to pick apart. You refine them until they're weapons of insight, not wounds on display. Stoicism demands we rule our emotions, not let them rule us. Your silence is that dominion, a space where you wrestle the storm until it submits to reason. Talking too soon is like smashing a half-formed blade. You wait, you shape, you strike only when it's ready. That's why your words, when they come, hit like thunder. They've been tempered by the quiet. Picture an alchemist in his lab, hunched over a bubbling cauldron. The world outside bangs on the door, but he doesn't answer, not until the gold's pure. That's your process. You're not hiding, you're crafting something stronger, something true, away from the noise that dilutes everything. They'll push you to open up before you're ready. Ignore them. You know the power of patience, the strength in letting the fire burn down to embers before you act. When you emerge from that silence, it's not just emotion, it's understanding, unbreakable and yours alone. That's the Sigma way. 5. The Sovereignty Sanctuary. A Sigma space isn't just a room, it's a kingdom, mental and untouchable. When the world presses in, demands piling up, voices too close, freedom shrinking, silence is the moat you raise around your castle. It's not about pushing people away, it's about guarding the core of who you are, a line in the sand that says, "This is mine," and you don't enter without permission. Your quiet is your crown, your claim to a life lived on your terms. The Stoics called it self-sufficiency, the art of needing nothing beyond your own will. Your silence builds that fortress brick by brick, keeping out the chaos that erodes your independence. It's not isolation, it's elevation, a perch where you breathe free and think clear, untangled from the world's leash. Think of a hawk circling above the fray, untouchable and alone. That's you when the noise gets too loud, rising above, not running from. Your silence isn't weakness, it's the steel spine of a man who knows his worth and won't let it be trampled by anyone's expectations. They'll call you distant, but they don't see the truth. You're not hiding, you're reigning. This sanctuary isn't negotiable, and those who can't respect it don't belong in your world. You'll let them in when you're ready, not a second before. That sovereignty and silence is how you defend it. 6. The group dynamics disconnect. Crowds aren't just uncomfortable for a Sigma, they're a battlefield you refuse to fight on. The overlapping voices, the forced unity, the slow grind of groupthink, it's a trap designed for the loud, not the wise. Silence is your armor, your way out, turning you into a ghost among the noise. You don't join the chorus because it's not your song, and you won't betray yourself to fit their rhythm. Stoic clarity comes from controlling what you can, your mind, your focus. You can't stop the crowd's chaos, so you step back, observing with a calm that unnerves them. It's not fear, it's power, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be felt. You save your voice for when it counts, not for the echo chamber of mediocrity. Imagine a lone swordsman watching a brawl from the sidelines. He doesn't swing at shadows, he waits for the real fight. That's you in a group, silent and steady, your energy held back for something worth the steal. The crowd can flail, you'll strike when the moment's yours. They'll call you detached. Let them. You're not here to play their game, you're here to win your own. Your silence isn't absence, it's presence, sharp and deliberate, a reminder that you don't bend to the herd. You connect when it's real, and that's a strength they'll never match. 7. The sensory overload circuit breaker. The world's a screaming mess, notifications pinging, lights flashing, noise everywhere, and a Sigma's mind is too fine-tuned to take it. When it hits overload, silence isn't a luxury, it's the breaker you slam down to stop the meltdown. It's a hard reset, stripping away the chaos until your senses can breathe again. You don't retreat because you're weak. You do it because you're wired for precision and you won't let the storm fry your circuits. Stoicism honors living in tune with your nature, and yours demands calm to thrive. Your silence is that alignment, a shield against a world that doesn't care how loud it gets. It's not about hiding, it's about keeping your edge, staying sharp when everything else dulls you down. You control the switch, not them. Picture a pilot in a cockpit, flipping off the alarms to focus on the controls. That's you, cutting the noise to save the mission. The world keeps blaring, but you've got a higher standard, mental clarity over sensory slavery. You'll step back in when the static clears, not a moment sooner. They'll say you're overreacting. They don't feel it like you do, the weight of every sound, every flash. You're not fragile, you're fierce, guarding a mind that cuts through the haze. Silence is your power move, and you'll wield it every time the world forgets who's in charge. 8. The inner crucible of decision. Big choices don't get hashed out loud for a Sigma. They burn in the silent forge of your mind. Talking before it's settled is like spilling molten iron before it's shaped. You keep it locked in until it's solid. Silence is where you weigh every angle, map every outcome, and hammer doubt into resolve. Interrupt that, and you're not just annoying, you're breaking something essential. The Stoics prized reason above all, and your quiet is its temple. You don't need a crowd's chatter to cloud the truth, you trust your own logic, your own fire. It's intense, it's solitary, and it's how you turn chaos into decisions that don't bend. When you speak, it's done, and the world feels the weight. Think of a sculptor chiseling stone in the dead of night. No one sees the process, but the statue stands eternal. That's your silence, hidden work that builds unbreakable outcomes. You don't rush, you refine, and the result is a choice carved in certainty. They'll demand answers now. Let them wait. You're not here to perform, you're here to perfect. Your silence isn't indecision, it's the sound of a man who knows the power of getting it right. When it breaks, it's not a suggestion, it's law. 9. The trust deficit lockdown. Trust is a Sigma's gold, rare, hard-won, and guarded. Break it with betrayal or lies and you don't get a scene, you get silence, the kind that echoes like a vault ceiling shut. It's not loud anger, it's a cold, total end to what you had, a recalibration of your worth in their world. No warnings, no pleas, just a door closed and the keys already dust. Stoicism teaches detachment from what we can't control, like others' loyalty. Your silence is that lesson lived, a shield against their failure, not a cry for their return. You don't waste energy on the untrustworthy, you lock them out and move on, clean and unburdened. It's not spite, it's survival. Imagine a merchant cutting ties with a cheating partner. No fuss, just a ledger scratched out. That's you. Trust isn't a gift you give twice, and your silence is the receipt for their loss. They'll feel the weight, but you're already free, lighter for it. They might beg for a chance. They won't get it. You're not cruel, you're clear. Once the vault's locked, it's over and the burden's on them to live with it. Your silence isn't punishment, it's protection, and you'll keep it as long as it takes to stay whole. 10. The intellectual preservation zone. Stupid arguments, ignorance dressed as debate, talk that drags you down, those are toxins to a Sigma's mind. You don't argue with fools, you seal off, your silence a clean break from the mess. It's not about teaching them, it's about saving yourself, keeping your thoughts pure and sharp. Engaging is like drinking from a mud puddle when you've got a well at home. Stoic focus is on what feeds the soul, not what starves it. Your silence is that filter, a wall between your clarity and their noise. You don't owe them your intellect, they'd only waste it, and you'd rather wrestle ideas in quiet than sling them at the unworthy. It's self-respect in action. Picture a sage on a mountaintop, ignoring the shouting below. That's you, above the fray, not in it. Your mind's a blade and you won't dull it on their nonsense. You save it for what sparks growth, not what smothers it, and they'll never know the difference. They'll call you smug. Let them. You're not here to fix their smallness, you're here to guard your greatness. Silence is your sanctuary, and you'll stay there until the conversation's worth your fire. Anything less is beneath you. 11. The silent ultimatum and exit strategy. When the lines cross too many times, boundaries ignored, energy sapped, values clashing, silence isn't a break, it's goodbye. A Sigma doesn't announce the end with fireworks. You just vanish, a shadow slipping out of their world. This quiet is final, a total erasure of presence that says, you're done here. It's not a game, it's the last act of a man who knows when to walk away. Stoicism embraces the end of things as natural, and your silence is that acceptance, Calm, resolute, free of bitterness. You don't burn bridges, you dissolve them, leaving no trace to follow. It's not about them anymore, it's about you reclaiming your peace and moving toward what aligns. The door's shut and it's not reopening. Think of a warrior leaving a battlefield he's outgrown, no words, just the dust of his boots fading away. That's your exit, silent, strong, absolute. You don't owe explanations, your absence is enough, a weight they'll carry while you rise unburdened. They'll wonder what happened. Let them. You're not here to ease their confusion, you're here to honor your limits. This silence is your ultimate power, the kind that ends chapters and starts legacies. You've walked away before and you'll do it again, each time stronger. You know this feeling. The moment the world's weight presses down, the noise turns to chains and silence becomes your only way out. It's not surrender, it's supremacy, a stand against a reality that tries to break you. For the Sigmas watching, this is your code. Quiet isn't weakness, it's where your power's born, where you sharpen your edge against a dull world. And if you're trying to crack the Sigma in your life, hear this. His silence isn't a puzzle to solve, it's a mountain to admire, a testament to a strength you might never grasp. This is why the Sigma male community exists. To arm you with the truths that fuel your independence, your growth, your unbreakable will. If these 11 brutal truths hit home, don't just sit there. Smash that like button, drop a comment with your own silent victories, and share this video with every man who needs to hear it. If you're already subscribed, turn on those notifications. Don't miss a single strike of wisdom from the only channel that gets you. Silence isn't the absence of something, it's the presence of everything that matters. Take it, wield it, let it shape you into the force you're meant to be. The Sigma male community's here for every step, your fortress, your fuel, your fight. Until next time, stay silent, stay unstoppable.